right, let me just couple of thoughts here. President Trump yesterday making his farewell address to the nation, and I think a lot of people see now if we hindsight's 2020. If the president, if things would have ended differently, although I still think even if we wouldn't have had the events of 2 weeks ago, that the media never would have given the president a break. They would have just continued to hound him. But he was so focused on the election irregularities, which are real, and by the way, which we are not going to drop. We're going to be looking at state legislatures and the responsibility they have to address the issues that came up in this last election. And as John Funn said, we're going to be watching this H.R. 1. We cannot allow the left to lock in an election system that allows the type of activity that took place in the last election. We have to have free and fair elections. And so I understand the frustration of the president. Again, I think if things could have been done differently, it would have been a lot better because it wouldn't have tarnished the 4 years of remarkable activity that this administration was engaged in. The men and women who worked in this administration sacrificially, on many accounts, to advance those core principles that gave America the opportunity to be a great nation, returning to those founding principles and ideals. And my hat's off to the men and women who served in the Trump administration. They did a remarkable job, and I can tell you that from firsthand knowledge of working alongside them, watching them. In fact, a number of individuals that had been at the Family Research Council joined the administration because of the cause for what they were fighting for. And so let's not forget the accomplishments of this administration. But yesterday, the president, in his farewell address, talked about the difficult path that he chose. He chose to do the hard things. Play clip number 5.
As president, my top priority, my constant concern, has always been the best interests of American workers and American families. I did not seek the easiest course. By far, it was actually the most difficult. I did not seek the path that would get the least criticism. I took on the tough battles, the hardest fights, the most difficult choices, because that's what you elected me to do. Your needs were my first and last unyielding focus.
I don't think anyone can accuse President Trump of taking the easy route on anything. He did fight. He fought against the left, and I think that's why there was such a dust-up, is there's never been, in my lifetime, a Republican, probably the closest it came to it was Ronald Reagan. But even he didn't press the way Donald Trump did. And plus, the left had not made such advancements as they had under really Barack Obama. Bill Clinton actually appears moderate compared to what we've seen in what we saw in Barack Obama's 2 terms and what we're probably going to see under Joe Biden. And so what Donald Trump did is he was going about dismantling the infrastructure of the left. And had he had another 4 years, I think it would have saved the Republic 20 years because of the work that he was doing. Another quote he said yesterday talks about the censorship which he experienced firsthand. Play clip number 6.
In America, we don't insist on absolute conformity or enforce rigid orthodoxies and punitive speech codes. We just don't do that. America is not a timid nation of tame souls who need to be sheltered and protected from those with whom we disagree. That's not who we are. It will never be who we are.
It has not been who we have been, but there are certainly those trying to make us into that nation. And again, the president unyielding in his refusal to comply with the media. The media, part of the issue between the president and the media is that the media has held, see how I want to say this correctly, but they've had such sway over presidents administrations, both Republican and Democrat. I mean, the strings are a little stronger on the Democratic administrations, but they're there on the Republican administrations as well. I've seen it. Donald Trump cut those strings. He refused to be influenced by the media, and therefore they hounded and pounded him from day one. Again, I don't like the way this administration, the way things ended, but I will tell you, I think we will look back in time, especially after a year or two of Joe Biden, and especially those who care about freedom and the founding ideals of America will look back with gratitude on the last 4 years. And as the president said this morning, he'll be back in some form or fashion. We'll see what that looks like.